Joining me now is ranking member of the House Oversight Committee and Kentucky Congressman James Comer. Congressman, always great to have you. Cuomo and other left-wing governors may have needlessly cost American seniors their lives by ordering China virus patients into nursing homes. Now, the press is all focused on Cuomo's sexual deviancy. How can the GOP make sure, not only Cuomo, but the Socialist Democrat governors all over who made similar orders to Cuomo are held accountable if they're found to have been negligent?
Well, the House Oversight Committee, the Republicans, we never let up on the investigation into the nursing home scandal cover-up by Governor Cuomo. We are still requesting documents. I think that now that he's out of office, I think we've got a new option with the Lieutenant Governor, soon to be Governor of New York. We're going to continue to request the information. We would love to have the Democrats on the committee subpoena witnesses in that, but they're not going to do it. This was, in a way, an opportunity for Cuomo to get out of his most serious crime, and his most serious crime was the cover-up of all the nursing home deaths in New York.
Well, and don't forget the other Socialist Democrats that were involved. You got Gavin Newsom, who gave a similar order. You got Gretchen Whitmer. You've got Phil Murphy of New Jersey, and Tom Wolf of Pennsylvania. So there are a lot of governors you can be researching, not just Mr. Cuomo. Now, the GOP teamed up with socialists to pass the $1.3 trillion down payment on the Green New Deal. Now the socialists want to put the nail in the coffin of the U.S. economy by imposing $3.5 trillion more in spending. Now, many Americans are starting to question whether the GOP has just given up altogether on fiscal sanity as inflation soars, and all the GOP does, at least on the Senate side, Congressman, is agree to spend more money that we Americans just don't have. Do you think Americans are right to be skeptical of the Republican Party after that vote in the Senate?
Well, I hope not. I think that when they see the reaction to the Republicans in the House, they'll have a much different reaction. I think the Republicans in the House are still conservative from a fiscal standpoint. We're frustrated with all the excessive government spending and the wasteful government spending. I mean, we need infrastructure in America, but after the Democrats already wasted so much money in their first stimulus bill under President Biden, now they're wanting to spend another $5 trillion, and the majority of which is printed money that's going to be generated from raising taxes on every American. And we're going to have a tax on every American in the form of inflation. The more money the government prints, the more money the government spends, the more goods are going to cost every working American. And I think that the Republicans in the House get it. I really don't understand why there were so many Republicans in the Senate that went along with infrastructure, other than the fact that they really need infrastructure in their states. And, we need infrastructure in Kentucky, too. But at the end of the day, my job as a member of Congress is to, and as ranking Republican on the House Oversight Committee, is to get the backs of the taxpayers. And why would you want to do an infrastructure bill at a time when you have runaway inflation? The cost to build what few roads and bridges are actually in that bill is going to be enormous, much more than they would have been under President Trump, because the cost of steel, the cost of blacktop, the cost of cement, everything has gone up as much as 100 or 200% under Joe Biden. So it's not the best time in the history of America to pass this infrastructure bill. I think the first goal of government should be to get inflation under control. Then you focus on an infrastructure bill.
Yeah, that would be nice. I think you're right about that. Cart before the horse. But that describes the Socialist Democrat Party. Last thing, I only got about a minute here, Congressman, and I wanted to get your reaction to this. Look, I interviewed a Democrat in Texas. His town is being overrun. He can't get Biden on the phone. Democrat communities, Latino communities in Texas being ravaged by massive illegal immigration. I know you're calling on your Democrat colleagues to visit the border to see the damage that they've done to our country and to Latino communities all over Texas. But frankly, Congressman, they already know what the damage they're doing, and they don't give a damn, sir. So isn't it about time the Republicans recognize the nature of the Socialist Party? This isn't Kennedy's Democrat Party anymore. These aren't individuals who really care. They care about their own power and not really we the people. Is it about time the Republican Party got that through their skull?
Well, I think you're going to see a majority of Republicans in the House understand that. If you look at this budget bill that the Democrats are trying to ram through the House next week, it has money for the border, but it allows for more illegal immigration. It doesn't do anything to finish the border wall. It doesn't do anything to increase border patrol agents, all the things that we need to secure the border. This is a total waste of money. It totally ignores the crisis we have at the border. Republicans have called on the DHS secretary to be impeached. You know, when you're in the minority, there's not a lot you can do other than message and just continue to try to educate the American people on the damage that the Democrats are doing. But so far, from an oversight standpoint and from a border security standpoint, the Democrats are AWOL. They're not there. They don't want to admit that there's a problem, and the liberals in the media aren't holding them accountable. I appreciate what you're doing on Newsmax to make sure that every American knows how bad it is. I've been to the border, and I can tell you, as bad as it is, in most people's minds, it's much worse when you go down there and see how wide open that border is. And when you talk to drug agents and law enforcement in South Central Kentucky, which is, you know, it's secluded from most of the United States, we're overrun with drugs now, and they're all coming from Mexico.